Hi guys, welcome to module 2. In this module we're going to look at some more formulas and some more formatting. First of all, I'm clicking into cell B17. I want to work out what each total, the total for each month, in this case 319, what is that as a percentage of the overall total. So as always with formulas, I'll start off with equals. I'll click on to B13, do a divide, click on to N13. Tick the formula, check that, tick the formula, get an answer there which is less than 1. Now in maths I would have to do times 100, but in Excel I just simply need to click the percent button, and then I want to increase decimal places twice, 1, 2, and then I get the answer 6.67%. Now when I go to pull that across, I'm going to get an error message. Div 0. When I click on the first div 0 and look at the formula, C13 divided by O13. So C13 is correct, it is the total for February. But if I look at O13, there's nothing in O13. It's a blank cell. And if I click across to the next one that says value, that is looking at P13. P13 is a word. Can't do the sum on a word. So these are error messages that I need to correct. Now there are two ways of fixing this: the long way and the wrong way in my view, and the correct way. So the long way would be, okay, C13 divided by N13, D13 divided by N13, E13 by N13, F13 by N13, and so on. You would get the correct answer, and in this example it wouldn't take too long because there's only 12 months. But imagine how long that would take if you had 10,000 rows. 4 hours later, feeling quite happy with yourself, but really it should have took a few seconds. And that's the problem with Excel. Sometimes it can be a pain and a very, very bad waste of time. The quick way to fix it is to tell the computer or to tell Excel that I want to lock this cell, N13, the total at the end. I want to lock that so I can pull across to it. Now the technical term is to make it absolute, but I'm just going to say lock it. So what you need to do is go up to the top onto the formula bar and press the F4 function key on the keyboard. That will put dollar signs in front of the N and in front of the 13. Now people may be sitting there thinking, well, I could have typed that. Yes, you could. And you could also, in this example, we only needed to lock column N, so I could have put just $1 in front of the N. But if you're not sure of where they go, just press the F4 function key, and that usually is all you need to do. Now if I take that formula and pull this across, because it's locked, every single cell is looking at N13 and we get the correct answer. Now I'll do that again coming down in this row. So I want to know what 1025 is as a percentage of the total at the bottom. So it's equals again, clicking on cell N5, divide by N13. Now I know I'm going to pull that down, so I'm going to lock that right now. And then when I tick that formula, I can format it to percent and decimal places 2. Gives me 21.43, which I'm going to pull down, which gives me the correct answer. Now if I do that again on a different example, if I come across the screen, this is a VAT example, so I've got the VAT in cell Q13, not B13. In this yellow cell at the top in T5, I want to know what the VAT is on these figures in column S. So the formula is equals S5 times Q13. Now I'm going to pull that down, so I'm going to lock Q13. Now before I do that, I'm just going to tick that formula. I'll get an answer of 48 pence, which is correct. Watch what happens if I don't lock it and I pull that down. I don't get the div 0 error message, I just get blank cells. Because if I look at the first one, it's looking at Q14, and Q14, there is nothing in Q14. So that is usually an indication that you've done something wrong, and in this case we've just forgotten to lock Q13. So I'm clicking on the formula bar, doing F4 again, tick that formula, and when I pull that down it works. Just double click on the dividing line between the columns to widen that, and there's the answers. Now this one on the right, I want to know the income that I'm going to make on these figures. So this is a car park in Edinburgh. So on a Monday I charge £3 to park. 1,000 people did park. I need to do a formula there that is going to work that out. So that's a simple formula, equals W6 times X6. Check it at the top and click the tick. 3,000 is correct. Now instead of pulling this down, I can do this. I'll get the little black cross and just tap tap. It will automatically fill down until it hits something or finds a gap. So for example, if I delete this one off again and do the tap tap, now it's gone a bit further down there because it can see things over on the left. Normally it would stop if your tables are laid out correctly, so I'll just get rid of those. In fact, that one as well. So I've made a bit of a mess with that, so I will tidy it up with the format painter, which is a good little example of the use of the format painter. I've clicked on a blank cell and I'm just going to wipe it over these yellow ones to get rid of them. Now back over to this one. I want to know what 3,000 is as a percentage of 20,000 at the bottom. So this is equals, click on the 3,000 cell, which is Y6, divided by, click on the 20,000 cell, which is Y13. I'm going to lock Y13 with the F4 key. I'm going to tick the formula, format it to percent, do the decimal places, and pull it down. I'm not going to double click it down for the same reason. I don't want that to happen again. So that's locking cells. It's a very common thing in Excel. It's not something that you may come across occasionally. It's very, very foundational to Excel, and you'll see dollar signs all over the place. Nothing to be worried about. It just means somebody's locked a cell to make it easy for them. They're not wanting to type things out over and over again. Or in this example, if the VAT changed to 25%, these all recalculated. I only changed one cell. So that's another use and reason for using dollar signs. Now the next sheet is about some other formatting that you can do in addition to the ones we covered on the previous module. So the first one I want to show you is, let's get rid of this little comment box, a feature called flash fill. Here is a list of emails. I've decided I want the first and surname from that list, so I've typed an example, and then I'm going to do this. I'm just going to highlight that list and I'm going to do Control and E, and that will automatically flash fill it down with the correct answer, which I think is an amazing little feature. If you didn't know about it, you do now. And have a go again at this one. So if I type my name and my department, there's the example. Highlight the 3 spaces, do Control E, and there it goes. It flash fills down again. Now for those people that are thinking, how do you split it down the other way, where I want to put this into 3 separate columns, that's an old feature, that's not new. That's basically on the data tab. You can use text to columns and just go next on that one. These have got spaces, so spaces, and there you go, and finish. That breaks it back down again. So flash fill joined it together, text to columns separated off. Now over on this side I want to quickly look at some other formatting options. On the previous video we looked at doing merge and center, which was on the home tab, merge and center. This time I don't want to do that. I want to do what's called wrap text, which will wrap the text around in a single cell. So rather than having a big wide column, you may want to wrap text around so you can keep the column widths fairly small. I'm highlighting the months of the year because I want to put these at an angle. I'm going to select angle counterclockwise, and the months sit like that. Sometimes you might want them to rotate text up like so. So if you've got a large heading for a column, but only a small amount of data in the column, you can use this to bring the column widths in again and save paper. Now across the bottom, I want to put a red border around that. So I'm going to the borders option. I'm going to not draw it. I'm going into more borders, selecting red, selecting the thickest line, and then I'm clicking outline, and then once you've clicked outline, you click OK. Now a lot of people look at that and think it's not gone red, but if you click away, you'll see that it has gone red. Next thing I want to look at is where I've got 23rd, H2SO4 and 23 degrees. So I'm going to type 23 with the letter O, and if I wanted that to show 23 degrees, I would have to do this. Highlight the letter O on the formula bar, go into this little font icon, little arrow in the corner. When this box comes up, I need to be ticking superscript, and up it goes. And I will do the same for 23rd. Now you could insert a symbol there and you'd get the same thing, but then we're not practicing doing superscript. Now in terms of this one, H2SO4, which is sulfuric acid, if I just type that, the 2 and the 4 needs to be down, subscript. So I'm going subscript, okay, and on the 4, down again, subscript, okay, H2SO4. Now this one is just simply merging cells into one, and then going into format cells to put this style on. So format cells you can get from the format tab at the end, format cells down the bottom. You can get format cells on the right click, format cells. You can also get it from any of these group headings that's got an arrow next to it, like that one or that one. Lots of ways to get into format cells, but when you get into format cells, you need to go on to the fill tab and you need to click fill effects. And I've got 2 color options selected at the top, so I'll go for red and yellow, and then I like it from the corner. I'll click OK to that. There's my style. I'll click OK to that again. Now lastly, on this little section, I want to highlight this line across the bottom, and I want to go back into format cells again. This time I'm going onto the fill tab again, but slightly different option. I want to pick a pattern. Now if I just pick a pattern from there, it will just be black and white as shown, but I'm going to change the color to dark blue, and the pattern lines are going to be that color. And then when I pick this, you'll see that that is quite a horrible color scheme. But I click OK, and there you go. People ask me, why do I do that? I do that to divide things up, so it's obviously not part of another part of the spreadsheet. Separate tables and things like that, separate months, weeks, years, whatever you want to separate, just so it's obvious for people that this is the end of a part of a spreadsheet. Now if I go on to exercise 2, and let's have a go at this. So on this little exercise, I want to make this little table on the right look like that one on the left without copying and pasting, which is cheating. So here we go. So if I click on that, that's merged, so I'll highlight that across the top, merge and center. These are obviously on their side, but when I do click on there, I can see that there is an extra line in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight those 4 cells and right click, insert, and shift cells down, which moves those down, and that gives me those 2 lines, the extra lines, same as that. And then I'm going to merge these into one, and then I'm going to put them at an angle like that. This has got borders on, so I'll highlight the whole thing and put borders on, all borders. And this bit is black, so I'll get the color black. The font is white, get the color white. The rest of it's this pink color, so if I go get the pink color, or as near as damn it, that looks like it, that's the same. And then I've got shading across the bottom, So I'm just going back into format cells to get the fill. It looks just black and white, so I'm going to pick black and white. I'm not sure which one it is. It looks like that one. That'll do. It is that one. And then the last thing is the borders. These borders are white. So I'm going into borders, down to the bottom, more borders. I'm selecting a big thick line because I think that's what it is. I'm selecting white. Now when I select white, everything disappears, but I've still got to go through the process of clicking outline and inside, so there's nothing showing there. And when I click OK to that, there we go. So that is the end of this module on more formulas and some more basic formatting.